Good afternoon and welcome to WeFM's 3 p.m. news. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, excitement is building in Rose Hall as the community prepares to host the final installment of the University of the West Indies UWI Global Campus SVG's lecture series on Thursday, May 8th at 7 p.m. The lecture, titled The Spiritual Baptist and the Musical Traditions of the Caribbean, 1849 to 1979, will be delivered by Vincentian historian and composer Dr. Cleve Scott of UWI Cave Hill. It marks the conclusion of a three-part series commemorating the nation's first ever spiritual Baptist holiday set for May 21st. Dr. Scott emphasized the vital role of music, especially drumming, in the spiritual Baptist struggle for freedom from colonial oppression. Head of UWI Global Campus SVG, Dr. Risa Noel McBarnett, urged the public to attend, noting strong support for previous lectures in Calder and Kingstown. The event takes place at the Rose Hall Community Center. As Child Month 2025 is celebrated under the theme Keep Us Safe, Strong and Free, We Are Children, Let Us Be, Minister of Education the Honorable Curtis King has reaffirmed the government's commitment to safeguarding the nation's children. In his official address, Minister King emphasized that child safety remains a top priority, announcing the launch of the Safe Schools Initiative in partnership with UNICEF. The nationwide program aims to create secure and inclusive learning environments by upgrading school infrastructure, providing child protection and mental health training for educators, and strengthening collaboration between schools, families, and law enforcement. When children feel safe, they can learn freely, dream fearlessly, and grow confidently, said Minister King, who also pledged continued policy development and educator training to better respond to children's needs. Still on the local scene, Finance Minister the Honorable Camilo Gonçalves has reaffirmed the government's stance against adopting citizenship by investment CPI programs, stating that St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues to achieve economic growth through sound, sustainable policies. In an interview with the Agency for Public Information, Minister Gonçalves emphasized that citizenship is priceless and should not be sold as an economic strategy. We will not compound our vulnerabilities by relying on precarious schemes like selling our passports, he said. The minister pointed to the World Bank projected growth rate of 4.9% for 2025 as evidence that targeted investment and prudent policy decisions are paying off. He added that the government is committed to building a nimble, inclusive, and people-centered economy rooted in long-term development. On to news in the region. Inspector Kellon Noel of the Royal Grenada Police Force, the RGPF, has been arrested and charged with non-capital murder and 2 counts of grievous harm following a fatal shooting incident in Victoria St. Mark on April 27th. The charges relate to the death of 46-year-old Wellington Welsh, a caretaker from Non-Parial St. Mark, who succumbed to his injuries on April 29th. The incident occurred during St. Mark's Day celebrations, where 4 civilians sustained injuries and were hospitalized. Inspector Noel has been suspended from active duty and is scheduled to appear at the St. George's Magistrates Court on Monday, May 5th. Advocates and government officials are renewing calls for the establishment of a national sex offender registry in Barbados, aiming to bolster protections for children and vulnerable individuals. Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment Charles Griffith emphasized the need for such a registry during debates on the Child Protection Bill, highlighting its potential to enhance community safety. Attorney General Dale Marshall has disclosed that the government is currently assessing the feasibility of implementing a sex offender registry. 2 academics have been commissioned to study the matter and are expected to provide recommendations by the end of the year. Marshall noted that while some citizens believe existing public records suffice, others argue for a centralized database to aid institutions in safeguarding children. Melissa Savary-Gittens, president of the National Organization of Women, has also advocated for the registry. citing concerns over delays in the legal system and the need for mechanisms to monitor offenders and protect vulnerable populations. The push for a registry aligns with regional efforts as countries like Antigua and Barbuda have already implemented controlled access sex offender registries. Such initiatives aim to monitor offenders' proximity to sensitive locations and enhance public safety. Finally, on the international scene, US President Donald Trump says he is directing his government to reopen and expand Alcatraz, the infamous former prison on an island near San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. In a message on his Truth Social site on Sunday, President Trump said that for too long America has been plagued by vicious, violent, and repeat criminal offenders. The reopening of Alcatraz, once notorious as one of the US's toughest prisons, would serve as a quote-unquote symbol of law, order, and justice, he said. Leading Democrats said the proposal was not a serious one. The maximum security facility, also known as The Rock, was closed in 1963 and it is currently operating as a successful tourist site. President Trump has been clashing with the courts over his policy of sending alleged gang members to a prison in El Salvador. In March, he sent a group of more than 200 alleged Venezuelan gang members there. He has also talked about sending homegrown criminals to foreign prisons. This has been WeFM's 3 p.m. News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 5:30 for WeFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.